Welcome to Season 2, Episode 6 of the Bulls REKAP Podcast. I'm Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You can read me in the Sun-Times sports section. You can find me on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, at JCowleyHoops. And I am covering an unbeaten NBA basketball team. That's right. I did predict in the preseason preview that I put out every year that the Bulls would finish above play-in status. I did not see this coming. I thought they would be regular season good. And obviously the sample size is very small. But look, there's some things you cannot argue about. There are some things you cannot debate right now, especially early on in the season when teams are getting out of training camp and are trying to ease into an 82-game season. These Bulls come at you in waves and make you run, and it's not even November yet, and it's a style of basketball a lot of teams can't really prep for and aren't ready for, and admittedly afterward talk about how, yes, come fourth quarter, hands are on knees, fighting to find some air for the lungs, and you're like, what the hell? What the hell just happened? So there is a formula there. The 15-5 that we talked about numerous times last year to end the season was not a mirage, was not fugazi. I was a little nervous about it because you don't love evaluating an NBA team in March because A, teams you're playing have gone into tank mode, and B, good teams that are playoff bound are starting to rest guys and angle for different seedings, and it's just a little tricky to fall in love with your team down the stretch. But Arturas Karnisovas did, and so far, this looks pretty legit. The first thing is the style of play offensively is really messing with teams out of the gate. We can't ignore that. I mean, you just can't. And all the opposition talked about it, and it's interesting. I had a chance to grab Isaac Okoro one-on-one and talk to him about last year when he was in Cleveland and you're preparing for the Bulls, what's that like? And he's like, that they're going to run just like, you do with the Pacers or with other teams that were high pace. That they're going to run. It's just really hard to prep for. And I think the slower pace you play at, Orlando, Detroit was like a top 7 pace team last year. So not necessarily Detroit, but a team like Orlando, you can't simulate it. You can't scout it. And guess what? In the regular season, teams really don't practice that much. They're not having these hard ass run in the ground scrimmages like they do in training camp. They'll practice, they'll work on some things, add some things, especially, these first couple weeks where they're tweaking things. But it's not like you're getting a scout team out there and you're simulating running up and down. You're not doing that on practice days once the regular season starts. So that's a problem, and it's played out that way so far. And I like the fact that they did stress adding some physicality to defense, improving the defense. And I'll tell you what, guys there are 2 charges, I think, in the game against Sacramento, and when DeMar and Zach returned on Wednesday night. Trey Jones, I know, had one, and I think someone got one earlier or tried to get one earlier. Nikola Vucevic, challenging guys at the rim. Love that. He's not getting blocks, but he's putting his body there and he's challenging guys. Modest Buzelis had 1 block against the Kings, but he challenged at least 3 or 4 shots. Excuse me. So the other side of the ball that they were stressing, the defense and the physicality, is showing itself. Those are all good things. Those are all sustainable things. Those are not, like I said, those are not mirages. Individually, brought his name up, Modest. Look, I've been praising him since last year and hyping him up that I thought this was going to be a huge second year for him. He is living up to that. And there's one story that I think needs to be told. He had a 3-point game against Orlando. He got in foul trouble. Look, Banchero's not an easy matchup for him. He's not an easy matchup for a lot of people. I don't think people realize how big this dude is. He looks like a freaking tight end. And it just messed with Modest. He wasn't ready for it. Got into foul trouble. Was trying to do too much defensively. after the game, it bothered him so badly. They got to the airport. Usually by that time, guys have kind of let it go. It's kind of rinsed off. Bothered him so bad, so much. He pulled Billy aside and he's like, "Hey, I just want to tell you that's not going to happen again. I'm not going to let that happen again." And that really resonated with Billy Donovan, because here's a guy that, like, Billy coaches him. This is as hard as I've seen Billy coach a young player. He had to pull back on Patrick Williams because Patrick wasn't. He's not built like that. And other guys, he's coached him hard, but not like Modest. I mean, he's really screwed around with Modest, especially last year, the first couple months. He was giving him quick hook after quick hook. And this kid could have easily turned on this dude. This son of a bitch, why is he messing with me? He didn't. He loved it. He embraced it. And so you're seeing a kid that really takes stuff like this to heart, wants to learn from his mistakes, admits he makes mistakes, and then, what can I do to build off those mistakes? And the other good point from this past week that needs to be out there, Zach LaVine, I don't think there's very few guys that were hyping up Modest as much as Zach LaVine was last year and praising his talents and his skills. And those two still talk. And I think that's really cool that he said, I can call Zach up or text Zach a question any time of day, any time of night, and he gets back to me right away. So, and trust me, Modest uses his question quota up, according to Zach. So I just think this kid just wants to learn, and his pursuit of greatness is not just words coming from him. And we're starting to see that. I mean, this is the next big thing in Chicago sports. Not Chicago Bulls basketball. This is the next big thing in Chicago sports. So, and everything around you tells you, everything and everyone around him tells us that. And so that's great. Josh Giddey, this is the guy they paid for. This was second half Josh, post Zach LaVine trade, where he felt he could be freed up to be a leader both on and off the court. 19.5 points leads the team. 8.5 rebounds, and 7.8 assists. I mean, flirting with triple doubles every night. And again, his numbers in the first half last year, he had a couple good number games, but they just felt like the empty calories that a lot of Bulls fans saw for years, whether it was Zach's empty calories or whoever's it was. It didn't impact winning. Josh's impact winning. And the nice thing I like about Josh, if the bench has it going on, he will tell Billy, especially like in crucial times, 2-3 minutes left, and he's on the bench with Billy, let's ride it. Let's ride it. Let's ride it. So he's putting up those kind of numbers, and his ego is 0.0, which is great. So a lot of praises for him. Guy I mentioned already, Vooch. Back-to-back games, he's flirted with triple-double. 18.3 points per game. 13.3 rebounds. That would be a career best for him if that holds. It probably won't, and 5 assists per game. I mean, playmaking, shooting. And like I said, the sneaky part, because we're not seeing it in the physical blocks, but the physicality in which he's throwing his body there to at least make it hard for guys to get to the rim. This is as lively as we've seen Nikola Vucevic. And mind you, this is a guy that played all summer for Montenegro, his last year of international ball before he announced his retirement. So I don't think enough could be said for a guy that turned 35 last week. So he'll be interesting, because for this to work, Zach Collins can't do what Vooch does. And people that think he can are stupid. You're stupid. But it's his last year of his contract. Do you talk 1 year extension with Vooch? Do you talk 1 year with an option with Vooch? Because if you want to keep this thing together and keep this thing humming like it is, you need him because of what he does, the way he plays. It's perfect for the style of basketball. So, excuse me. So, can't say his praises enough. Among those are the starters. Two guys I want to talk about off the bench. Kevin Huerter, the smirk. I mean, he's getting it done. In the last couple of games, he's been in there in crunch time. There's just something about him. I mean, he's not the greatest athlete. He's not the greatest one-on-one defender. But when he's in there, the Bulls are plus, it seems like, all the time. And good things happen in important moments. So he's been great, and Io DeSumo, he's been great. I mean, he's the kind of the go of that bench group. Trey Jones is the go for the starters. He's the adult that pulls the ball back. There were 3 times yesterday they had a break. It looked like a break. Sacramento actually got backed and kind of got into spots where Trey Jones wasn't excited about it. He went all the way around underneath the basket, did the Steve Nash, brought the ball back out, reset the offense, and I think they got baskets off 2 of the 3. So he just gets half court sets that you're not always going to be out in this run. So I think he's been great, but off the bench, Kevin Huerter and Io, just huge boosts and pieces that play into this whole depth and this wave. And here's the scary part. Dalen Terry's gotten a little bit of run. Julian Phillips in 2 games got more run. Dalen needs some more run. But then you think of the other guys, Io, Huerter, Jalen Smith. And, I mean, you just keep counting down the line. Guess what? Zach Collins hasn't even played yet. He's recovering from wrist surgery. Kobe White hasn't played yet. He's recovering from the calf strain. So will Billy go? I'm forgetting Noah Asenge. I told everyone, forget this rookie year. It's a red shirt year, especially early on, and especially with them winning like this. As long as they're relatively healthy in the front court, which they are besides Zach Collins, Noah has no chance of playing. He just doesn't. He's behind Julian. He's likely behind Dalen, who can play either backcourt or front court if they go smaller lineup. So forget Noah Asenge. I told people this back in the summer. He's physically just not ready. What I will say, if you do want a tidbit to make you at least sleep better at night about him and the draft status of being picked, 12th or whatever it was, mature beyond his years and knowledge for the game, IQ for the game, really high. Work ethic, really good. He's just physically not there. He's an 18-year-old kid. And that's what he is. So he has a lot to growth to make in the physicality department. They feel he will. G League starts up practice, I think, next week, I heard. He will be getting practice time with them, and I will not be shocked if he plays a lot of games with them, especially early on, because you don't want him sitting too long and not getting some kind of game experience, even if it's G League, because he's not going to be getting it in the NBA. So I know there are some people that rolled their eyes and didn't believe me when I was saying over the summer that this kid is a project. This kid will not contribute much this year, especially early on. I kind of know what I'm talking about. And so that's where we are with him. But now I'm going to put the big butt down. I'm going to go from Mr. Positive to Mr. Reality. I think this is sustainable. I said that. I think what the Bulls are doing, relatively healthy. I mean, obviously, if there's a wave of injuries, then we're talking something completely different. But as they are constructed right now and still waiting for the addition of Zach Collins and Kobe, I think that what they're doing will carry throughout the regular season. And to me, that's the problem. Was this team just built for Arturas to say, see, I told you so in the regular season? My concern is playoff time, and especially if we're going on the parameters of last year's postseason. If anybody watched those playoffs last year and studied them, this kind of basketball won't hold up. And don't throw the Pacers out there as an example, okay? The Pacers were way better defensively than this team, and the other team they faced in the Western Conference who won it all was number 1 defensively and could play with pace and was efficient offensively. So the bar in a 7-game series where teams just see you over and over again and are prepared for you and aren't coming off a back-to-back and have games in between to rest, I don't know if this is sustainable unless I see the defense and the physicality continue to take monumental leaps. And I mean monumental leaps. There's attempts and there is improvement, but I would need to see monumental leaps. We are not there yet. So I think this is one of those teams that I think could get you really excited in the regular season And then if the matchup's not right in the postseason, no matter what their seed is, 1, 2, 3, or 4, if they're hosting a team, if it's the wrong team, Cleveland kind of muddles through the year. Orlando, who I still think is a matchup problem. I mean, that the Orlando thing is styles make the fight, and these two teams are as different as you can be, but who would impose their will and their style on the other? Philadelphia, a healthy Philadelphia team, they could run just like this. And plus they've got the beast in Joel Embiid, who's under a minutes restriction, but starting to get a little bit health to him, starting to play a little bit, something to keep an eye on. So there are issues out there and problems out there, even in the 4-0 start, not to be a doomsayer, but I'm just saying this sets up where they could really break your heart in the spring unless they show these, like I said, these monumental improvements defensively. But what we're seeing now, I'm not going to poo-poo it. I'm not going to say it's fluke. I'm not going to say it's the schedule, blah, blah. This is real, and Bulls fans should embrace that. It's exciting. It's an exciting style of basketball because now they have the other element mixed into it where they're physically trying to stop you on the other end. When it was just a track meet late last year, yeah, it's fun to watch because there's so much scoring, but it's just not sustainable. This is sustainable as long as they play the defense. So that's my only caution. The other thing, too, is does Arturas just say, I'm good as is? Kobe comes back. He's got a contract that's expiring. Ayo's contract's expiring. Herter's contract's expiring. Collins' contract's expiring. Javon Carter, who's not a factor, his contract is expiring. Vucevic's contract is expiring. Do they try and throw extensions out there, especially if at All-Star break or at the deadline, like they did the Lonzo Ball extension last year? At the deadline, they are 7 games over 500, and they're hosting, at least on pace to host a playoff game, a playoff round. Does he throw extensions out there to some of these guys? It won't be Kobe because Kobe obviously is going to test the market so you get the most money. It doesn't behoove him or his agent to take an extension before July comes around. With that said, does he also get aggressive and say, hey, you know what? We went undefeated to start the season without Kobe White. I have a chance to get player A or player B, who I think is an elite defensive front court guy, or I think is a star backcourt guy of the future who's just young, and we would have financial control over this kid, and I could get a draft pick out of it and make this team even better and sustainable and more of a championship type model. If that comes around, does he have the cojones to make that trade? Does he pull a trigger on something like that? That's all going to fall on his table. Obviously, we don't know what the market's going to offer him or talk to him about. He doesn't know that, but those are all important things to watch because my concern is he strikes me as a guy the last couple of years since the 21-22 thing blew up in his face that's very content with just sitting back and letting the world just go by. So he's got some decisions to make, and I'd hate him to say, I'm just tabling all these decisions till after the season, no matter what. I would like him at least to talk and to put things into play and just to see what's out there. But, that's why he's paid the big bucks, and he's way smarter at basketball than me. So that's it. So a lot of good things with the Bulls. Like I said, you can believe in them. This thing is real, but just caution. If it's not handled with care and nurtured the right way, it could really disappoint you and bite your hand come springtime. So, all right, let's go to Cowley Island. The NBA media, I'll give it credit. It's almost like DC media, political media. They take a narrative. Their eyes tell them the narrative is wrong. The numbers tell them the narrative is wrong. but they get these little executives in their ear and these little bosses in their ear that they don't want to rock the boat on. They don't want to piss off. They don't want to upset Dolan. If you're in New York, he might mess with your credential. Ooh. So the knock after the playoffs last year was Tom Thibodeau. His offense was the problem. We will bring in a guy who will run a better, more modern offense than Tibbs. Ball movement, quicker pace, more scoring, and we will finish our unfinished business of standing atop the Eastern Conference. So they bring in Mike Brown. Okay. I don't believe in Mike Brown's offense. I never have. His best offense was called LeBron James. But they bring in Mike Brown. And then the media goes to fall camp, national guys, local guys, and slurps how great this offense looks. It's going to be unbelievable with the personnel and Cat, Brunson, and just the guys they have. Hart, it's it's going to be everything it wasn't last year. Okay, the sample size is small. I get that. 4 games, 2-2 record, 110.5 points per game. That's 25th in the league. 23 assists per game, 25th in the league. Offensive efficiency ranking, 23rd. Modern day Mike Brown offense, just kicking ass and taking names. Thibodeau's offense last year, the old caveman offense, the thing that was holding him back, 115.8 points per game. That's 9th in the NBA last year. 27.5 assists per game, which I believe was a Knicks franchise record. I'll look that up. 11th overall in the NBA. Offensive efficiency, the 5th most efficient offense in the league. But the offense and Tibbs had to go. I really, really hope this doesn't blow up in the Knicks' face. It would really, really upset me if this whole thing goes awry and they fail to reach at least the Eastern Conference Finals. More specifically, they better make it to the finals if you're going to get rid of a guy like Tibbs. And you know what? A team right now that could use an offense like that and already has a defense in place and is underachieving so far out of the gate, Cleveland Cavaliers. Come on down. All right, let's go to the list. I love this rookie class. Been praising this rookie class for at least a year now, putting names out there for you people of what was coming. We'll start getting to the 26 draft class soon. Like I said, the next month, the month of November, we should have some fun things for the pod, some guests, some Bulls guests, some more people. So get ready, strap it in. But right now, the top 6 rookies for this draft class that I've been keeping an eye on and have me kind of excited. And no, Cooper Flagg is not number 1 on my list as much as I praise him. He will be when it's all said and done. But for right now, we're going to start from 6 to 1. Cedric Howard, Memphis, 11th overall pick. He was kind of like a combo, big, strong kind of guard at Washington State. Didn't really know what to make of him. Perfect fit for Memphis. Dude's balling. And if you haven't seen him play, just watch. I mean, he's a dude. Trey Johnson, a guy I really like for Washington. Flat-out shooter and flat-out scorer. He's not starting. He's coming off the bench. He's getting pretty good minutes, and he's scoring at a nice clip. Number 4 is going to be Cooper Flagg. Starting, playing point guard at times and a lot of times, which I did not see coming. Obviously, that will change when Kyrie Irving is healthy. But he's had some games where he's looked really good, and then a couple games where he's looked a little overwhelmed. And I don't know if that's the position change or the fact that he is playing next to some talented guys. He's not your basic number 1 pick where go out there, save us, we're a shitbag team, and we need you to throw life preservers our way. He's playing with some dudes, AD and Lively, guys like that. So He got a little banged up, but he's had a couple good games, couple games that were forgettable. But he's number 4 right now. Number 3, Dylan Harper. Dude's just a winner. I think when you watch Ace Bailey and you watch Dylan Harper at their new places, you can look back to the Rutgers thing that for some reason they couldn't even make an NCAA tournament, even though they had 2 top, lottery picks on the same roster. And you could say, I think I know whose fault that was. And it's not Dylan Harper's. I think he's 12.3 plus minus per game. Pretty damn good. Number 2, guy that I really loved in talking to some Bulls personnel, a guy that they really loved, but they knew they weren't going to get because his stock was just surging as the draft was getting closer. Con Knipple. Can't say enough about him. Coming out, he started a couple games coming off the bench, shooting 53.3% from 3, which we knew he was a marksman, but the other stuff he's doing, rebounding. He still has to play next to Clown LaMelo, who's doing clowny things. But Charlotte's scoring a ton of points. They can't stop anybody, but they can score a ton of points. I think they gave up 143 or 145 to Miami. That's a crime scene, and that was not in overtime. That's just a messy crime scene. So love Con Knipple. I think he's going to be all rookie. I think he is the guy that they should start looking to build that team around. Unfortunately, they're stuck with LaMelo in that contract. I'm hoping some of his professionalism and some of his maturity could rub off on LaMelo because I think that team could be special because they do have some pieces. And number 1, VJ Edgecombe, another guy I loved this summer. And I said I compared his explosiveness to Anthony Edwards. I didn't say he was going to be Anthony Edwards. I said he's as explosive as Anthony Edwards from a guard spot. He is proving that. 22.3 points per game, 43% from three-point shooting. He was not the greatest three-point shooter at Baylor as a true freshman. So it's good to see that he's worked on that. I'm telling you, man, Maxey, him, McCain's supposed to come back from injury. Paul George, who knows, maybe he gets healthy. Joel Embiid's on a minutes restriction, but he's out there. He looks like he's my age, but he's out there, and he's had a couple decent games. Philly could be something special. I guess when you pull a plug on a season and tank the last couple of weeks, good things come your way. But some teams don't listen to that. So that's it. Top 6 rookies, 6 guys for you guys to watch. Like I said, I'm excited about what we got planned for November. Should have some fun shows coming up. But until then, I got next.